Welcome to Simplify to Scale, a show dedicated to helping you scale a high impact and high profit business that you love without all of the complexity and chaos that can keep you trapped in the day to day. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and with decades of scaling experience, I know what actually works and what's just hype. So if you are done with all of the one-size-fits-all scaling advice and all of the overnight success promises, and instead you want proven practical strategies that will help you simplify operations, elevate your leadership, amplify profits, and scale sustainably, let's dive in and get started. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Simplify to Scale show. Today, I am actually going to be sharing with you an episode from my private podcast. So you may not know that I have a private podcast that I host inside my small circle community. And this is for a small circle of business owners and the right hands who partner with them. And this is where we talk all about what it means to elevate our businesses, for strategic leadership, for how to use AI as a strategic asset. Really, this is as we look to the future of small business, as we look to the future of what it means to lead or help scale a service-based business. What are the different things that we're experiencing or our clients are experiencing? And I personally am in the middle of some really interesting introspection and shifts and things that are going on for me. And I recorded this episode, ironically, a couple months ago. And I'm sharing it with you here because this is going to give you a little teaser into some of what's actually coming for me that I'm really excited to be sharing with you. But instead of saying the exact same thing twice, I'm just going to share this episode here and know that the episode format's a little different than this one. I talk very almost interactively with people because we are such a connected group who meets once a month and talks through everything on the private podcast in a small circle think tank type of discussion. But I think this will be really relevant for you, whether it's for you in your own business or whether it's for the clients that you're partnering with and the people that you're working with, because this is really about the identity shift that many of us are experiencing in this particular season of our business and our life. And with that being said, before you dive in and get to take a listen to this behind the scenes of our private podcast, is if you are looking for an experience to go and spend some time in person with business owners at your level to get to actually figure out how to use AI as a strategic asset in a way that's going to sustain and that goes beyond all of the hype and which tool of the moment you're using and all of those different things, the true foundational things that are going to make your business be able to actually achieve the vision that you have, scale to the level that you want it, and do it without everything being so dependent on you, that I'm actually hosting a 3-day event. Depending on when you're listening to this, you still have time to register. There's only a couple spots left. So go head over to the page and they may or may not still be available. But if they're not, then there will be a wait list which you can get on for the next time that I do this. But I'm hosting a 3-day event called Founder Frequency Live. And we're going to be coming together in Austin, Texas, June 18th through 20th. And we are going to be doing a few different things that are going to make the biggest difference in how your team operates and how your AI team operates. So, what we're doing works for both your human team as well as your AI team. And this is the stuff that is going to make your people and your technology work the way that you wish that it always did, instead of having to do so much rework, so much repetition of saying the same things and giving the same corrections and giving the same feedback. We are going to do the thing that most entrepreneurs never actually slow down long enough to do and actually put the foundational things in place that are going to make everything run better, that you already have, that you're already using AI for, that your team already does today, and anything that you do in the future. When you hire someone in the future, it's going to completely simplify their onboarding experience and get them to the place where they're producing actual results and outcome in the business much quicker. When you're bringing on new AI team members, which I say in air quotes, that's going to go much quicker as well. And you're going to have much less time that you're going to need to spend in the depth of the training period because you're going to have a lot of that pre work in place. And I'm not going to go through all the details of it. You can find all the details over at leanscaling.com/frequency. Go check that out or click below down in the show notes and you'll find the link there. But I encourage you to check it out. We're going to spend 3 days together. We're actually going to come together at my house for an event, and I'm inviting some other local entrepreneurs in Austin to come together so that everyone can expand their connections and their conversations. We're going to be doing masterminding. And this is really a very low pressure, low stress environment to actually get to do in AI what you frequently do not have time to do when you're stuck behind your desk in your daily routine. I'm calling it more of an AI playground, but I have it structured so you leave with 4 incredibly high value things that are gonna make a huge difference in where you're spending your time and what you're doing. And if you are feeling called to more of an identity evolution, either in the role you're playing in your business or in looking forward to what you're doing next, then this is going to be a catalyst for that. And some of the things I'm gonna be sharing with you about what I'm doing in my own business and my own personal evolution actually came out of this activity in these exercises in building these things that I'm going to be guiding you through. So, with that being said, here's a little insight into one of the episodes of Soul Unfiltered. And maybe, just maybe, I will see you soon and we'll spend 3 full days together. And if not, get yourself on the wait list. And I look forward to inviting you to Austin the next time that I host this experience. In this month's episode, we're going to be talking about what happens when you yourself have an identity evolution or when your business has an identity evolution and how you navigate all of that internal change as well as the marketing and communication externally and to existing clients. So, one of the things that I've noticed happen quite a bit over these past few years is as things stopped working the way that they did previously, a lot of people have changed their business. Now, some decided to close their business and go and get jobs. Some decided to completely reinvent their business. Some just made those 5-degree, 15-degree shifts to take what they had been doing and kind of evolve it into what's working in today's market. But one thing that I've noticed that's pretty consistent, regardless of which path people went on, is most people, most founders, or most people in roles that are partnering with founders all seemed to experience some kind of identity evolution where they evolved beyond their way of thinking previously, maybe their way of working previously, and in a lot of cases, who and what they wanted. And so I noticed this in a few different facets, and I have some suspicions as to why that is. Like, A, when things stop working the way that you've always known, your habits get broken, your routines get broken. The things that you kind of set and forget or just did on repeat because they became almost habitual, all of a sudden gets disrupted. And so it causes you this internal shift where you have to stop and rethink things. You can't kind of live and run on autopilot anymore. So as a result, you end up doing a lot of deep thinking and a lot of contemplative thinking in ways that you may or may not have, recently leading up to that. Now, the other thing is the really massive and fast advancement of what's happening with AI has caused everyone, again, that very disruptive type of thinking where they're either saying, how am I going to use this within my own business? How am I going to be able to support clients in using this? Do I want to use this? If I don't want to use this, am I going to be left behind? If I do want to use it, what tools do I use? Practically, how do I do this? How do I make it value add instead of just a distraction and time suck? Right. And so all of these fundamental things converging all at once have caused a lot of people to do this really deep inner reflection. And again, as a result, some people realized, you know what? I'm done with entrepreneurship. Forget this. I legit want a job. Not I'm getting one financially because I need to because things aren't working. But some people realized, you know what? Entrepreneurship sounded really fun, but in the end, maybe it's not what I really wanted. Or people are shifting some of what they want on that end. Other people more deeply rooted, like, put those roots in deep that, "No, I absolutely, absolutely want my own business, and I'm gonna find a way to make this really successful, but I need to evolve with it." And not everyone does this consciously. Sometimes it's a subconscious kind of thing, but I've seen people go on either side of things where some say, "You know what? I'm realizing entrepreneurship is way harder than I thought it was gonna be. This is way more than I thought it was gonna be. It was actually a lot more peaceful when I had a career or a job or a paycheck or benefits or things of that nature," right? And more power to them, to each their own. Whatever feels aligned is what somebody should do. And again, that's more a directional, my identity has evolved and I realize that's what I want versus I'm doing it more out of like a desperation from a financial and more of a kind of fear based place, which is unfortunately where a lot of people ended up. Right. And then on the other side, with people just saying, no, I love my business. I love being a business owner. I love getting to create something from nothing. I love getting to help my clients achieve XYZ. Right. That all of a sudden brought about a different set of things to go and look at and say, do I want to use either AI or different technologies? Do I want to evolve my service model? Do I want to evolve what I do, who I am, who I work with, how I position what I do, right? It took a lot of other changes to make things continue working given all those disruptions. And then some people ended up in a third category, which is I know I still want to do my own thing. I know I still want to have a business, or I know I still want to partner with small businesses. However, I don't want to do what I was doing before. There's this thing I've always wanted to do. And when everything stopped working, when everything got disrupted and changed, I now all of a sudden feel like I have the freedom to step into and do what I've always wanted to do. And in each of these cases, there is an acceptance and a letting go, right? There's this release and letting go of what was. Even if you're moving towards something that you really want, there's still that like mourning and grief over what was. This is going to sound silly, but even when things are terrible and you are not happy doing them, there's still a little bit of mourning and grief when you leave it behind and do something different, only because humans by nature do not handle change well. And it's kinda like the enemy that you know. It's like, "Well, I this was painful, this was this, but it's what I know. It's my place of comfort." And so no matter the change, positive, negative, indifferent, neutral, right? There's always this period of release and letting go and processing and acknowledgement of I'm no longer doing this particular way. And again, some people do this very intentionally with a lot of depth. Other people, it just kind of happens subconsciously. They're so fast and moving, they kind of don't take conscious time to process it, but it's still happening underneath. It's still happening internally whether it's recognized or not. But then there is the stepping into whatever that new version, that new identity looks like, there's that stepping into. And while it can feel really disruptive for you, there is also the reality of it might disrupt the work that you're doing with existing clients or the way you talk about what you do with new and prospective clients. And so, how do you handle that? So, I'm going to start with existing clients first. One of the things that I always believe is transparency. And because we are all in a transformation, not transaction type of business model, you probably have really great relationships with the clients that you partner with. And so being able to share things with them very transparently, I find is always a positive thing. Now, I don't mean transparently in a well, this sucks and nothing was working. So now I had to do this different. Like, that's never what you want to do, right? You always want to be the inspiration, the one who models the way, the one who's showing and modeling that positive behavior that you're hoping that your clients will also adopt and have, right? And so instead, I would be saying, listen, you probably noticed that a lot of things have been shifting. And one of the things that I realized is that I've really been feeling called to do more of this, or this has really given me the opportunity to laser focus in on this particular area that I've always been really passionate about. And I didn't feel like I had the ability to do because I was spending so much time doing these other things. And I'm using this as an opportunity to actually be able to shift my focus here because I'm seeing that for businesses like yours, this is the most important thing that they're going to need not only right now, but as we look forward. And so it takes the shift that you're making as this really positive, like, wow, she's doing what she wants. She's being forward thinking. How can I do that in my business? Right. And that's the sort of feeling that you want to have your clients feeling. And so, again, it should be transparent. You don't have to hide it. You can say, listen, like the market disrupted everything. It caused me to really look at what I was doing. And what I realized is, and again, you're saying it very positively, very proactively. You're painting the picture of possibility and what's next, not the like doom and gloom. And so that's communicating to existing clients. And you'll have to figure out your own version of that that fits what you do and what feels right for you and how you talk about things and how you relate to your clients. But there is something with that general principle that will fit really well. Now, when it comes to new clients, prospects, well, one of the things that's really fascinating is because we do what we do all day long, because we talk about what we talk about all day long, we kind of assume everyone knows exactly what we do. We assume that everyone knows exactly who we work with. We assume that people will notice when things shift, and very few people do. And those who are your diehards, you're like, ride or dies. I am going to do anything this person does. I love this person. I pay attention to everything that they do. That person will be happy with whatever you do. If you keep doing the same thing, if you do something different, if you close it all down and start making jewelry, like I kind of want to do in real life. Like if you were to do that, they would still be excited for you. So the way you communicate it is entirely up to you. I've seen people do it strategically where they use it as an opportunity to pull people into the shift. They use it as almost a marketing moment in the business to say like, "Hey, come check out what I'm doing. I'm doing something different. I'm going to tell you why I'm doing it different. Come be a part of this like secret moment, secret movement of what I have going on." So I see people do that, but I also see people sometimes just change things and just talk about the new thing that they're doing, and they don't even really acknowledge the old thing that they were doing, and very few people notice or ask. Sometimes that can feel a little deflating when you're like, "Really? I poured my life work into this and nobody even notices when I'm not doing it anymore or when I'm not talking about it anymore." But people are so trying to figure out their own lives and their own businesses and their own everything that they're not paying attention nearly as much as we think they are. And those who are, like I said, are ride or dies, the like people who love us no matter what, they love us no matter what. And so it's entirely up to you and your level of comfort, how much you want to announce or talk about or leverage any changes that you're making as a way to pull people along and really raise awareness about what you're doing different. Just like anytime you launch something new, there's that like early energy, that exciting, that curiosity that people will pay attention a little bit more. So you can leverage that. Or you can just change things. And there is no right, there is no wrong. It's a matter of what's right for you right now. But if you have been feeling called to do something different, this is your opportunity. When the markets are shifting, when everything around us is shifting, you can kind of keep scrambling and try to keep up and try to get things to work again, or you can take that 30,000-foot view, sometimes 100,000-foot view, and zoom way the heck out and say, "What do I even wanna be doing? is this even what I want to be doing? Do I want to be doing it like this? Do I want to be doing it like that? Or is there something that I really, really, really want to do? And now is the opportunity to do that. And sometimes the answer, again, is like a 5-degree shift or a 15-degree shift from what you're doing today. It's like incrementally different. It's not significant at all. And then other times it's pretty dramatic. And in any case, allow yourself to step into that. There is obviously the bridge that you need to build between what you have now and where you're going. So you are able to maintain and sustain your revenue levels and you don't tank your profitability and you don't burn bridges with existing clients. Like, of course, there's that whole practical side of things. And if you have questions on any of that, bring that into our next think tank call, but give yourself the opportunity to even just sit and journal or talk out loud to whisper or do something to kind of get out and reflect on what is it that you really want? What is that next identity evolution that you want to step into in your business, in your career, in the partnerships with those that you work with? What does that look like? And how could you begin to step into that? And what does it look like? I hope you enjoyed that preview into the private podcast that I do every single month for those inside my community. As I mentioned at the start of the episode, Founder Frequency Live is coming up June 18th through 20th in Austin, Texas. And this is going to be an AI playground where we put the things in place that are going to make everything you do with AI work so much better. But most importantly, it also works really well for your human team and it sets you up to be able to stay more in the founder seat in the business, hence founder frequency, be more the true visionary leader of the business instead of the one who's stuck in the day-to-day operations yourself. And so if that sounds of interest to you, head over to leanscaling.com/frequency and see if there's any seats remaining. If so, grab one of those and we'll spend some time together. You'll get to come meet my dog. We're going to do an event at my house. So you'll get to meet little Remy. If you've ever seen me post pictures of him on Instagram, he's adorable and lovable and you'll get lots of puppy kisses. But that being said, if not, get on the wait list and I'll be sure to let you know the next time that I lead this because I think I'm going to do this again, probably in the fall. So I hope you got a lot of value out of this episode. I will be back with you again next week. If you are a visionary founder ready to get yourself out of the day-to-day operations of your business and scale in a much more simple, sustainable way, I have just the thing. Register to join me for my Scale Simpler workshop at scalesimpler.com. In it, I break down the hidden barriers that keep you trapped in the day-to-day of your business and what to do to finally extract yourself once and for all so things do not keep coming back onto your plate. And if you're someone who partners with founders as their right-hand advisor, consultant, or fractional, I invite you to explore our scaling certification and licensing programs at strategicopsinstitute.com.